Alright, what's going on, guys? Using a microphone for my gaming headset, so there's going to be a little bit of white noise, a little bit of distortion kind of going on. Hopefully y'all can ignore that. But a lot of people wanted me, or at least wanted to hear my review on my Taramps HD6500 1-ohm version that I had recently purchased and used for heatwave and kill switch, and I wanted to give it a little bit of time, put it through its paces sort of thing, and really see how it performed. So I'm just going to kind of go through some things, and hopefully it all makes sense. Hopefully I don't get jumbled up. This is actually like my third take, because after talking and talking and talking, get crisscrossed and start sounding stupid, and you know, that sort of thing. So first things first, price per wattage. That's a big thing that people want to try Brazilian for, is price per wattage versus Korean, where in Brazilian you can get your 8 to 10 watts per dollar versus your Korean of getting 4 to 6 watts, depending on kind of the pricing and sort of what's out there. So you can almost get double power for the same price. I mean, that's a big deal. Second is the efficiency. A lot of people like the efficiency. You can get those mid-high 70s, low 80s efficiencies, to whereas with Koreans, you're getting mid-60s, high 60s, low 70s, sort of thing like that. And basically all that correlates to is you can pull more wattage with you can get more wattage with Brazilian while pulling the same amount of amperage as, say, a Korean board. Say a 5,000 watt Korean board pulls 400 amps. You can pull 400 amps through a Brazilian and get 6,500, 7,000 watts, that sort of thing. Which is crazy. It's a different technology. It's not as heavily overbuilt, though, as Koreans, which is a big deal. You're not going to be running a Brazilian at a quarter ohm on a burp. You're not going to be running a Brazilian at a third of an ohm on a 30-second street beat run or anything like that. Like, some people have done it, but the vast majority have had terrible results when running below recommended ohm loads. Koreans, they're a little bit more lenient. You can kind of do what you want, kind of sort of thought process with them, as long as you have a little bit of know-how and background on possible consequences or things you might want to test before doing such a thing. But the 6500 has 350 amps of fusing and 1-odd inputs. Y'all probably saw that in my other video. I'll actually link it in the description just in case y'all didn't. It's kind of a little overview unboxing kind of thing. So it's got 350 amps of fusing. I already know I'm pulling more than that just with how my voltage is. When my alternators are hot, I'm probably getting 450 to 470. I can dip into float like it's no biggie. Or no problem. I can dip right into float. So some songs like my mid high 30s, anything higher than that, I don't have an issue going below 13.2 at full tilt. It's just with how my wall is, it's more efficient higher up. A lot of people's are the other way around. Low frequency, I can get 12.6, 12.7 depending on the song. If I clip the amp, 12 flat. So I know I'm pulling a shitload of amperage when I'm doing a soft, maybe medium clip on the amp. But the amp takes it no problem. With my 7K, Korean 7K, it had been resistive tested, Taylor fade, did some testing on it. It does right at 7,000. So who knows what I was getting, but just for the sake of this video, it was a 7K board. I did a 55.3. It was in sort of the winter months, so I mean it's 15 degrees cooler than it is now. That might have changed something, might have not. Metered the exact same way. Everything the same. Did a 54.6 with the Brazilian. Could that be weather? Possibly. maybe I don't have the same amount of wattage, possibly. Take it with a grain of salt. Did a 55.3 with the Korean, 54.6 with the Brazilian. Their ratings were 500 watts difference. On to the next thing. With it being I think it's a 13 or 14 pound amp. It's got a tiny heat sink, very thin heat sink. And I mean, not too huge amount of internals. Well, it heats up fast. I wouldn't say. Well, a lot of people will say that they heat up fast. In reality, they don't. They don't even run warm. They run lukewarm. Even being in my toolbox, it runs lukewarm. When I drove to Heatwave, I had it playing medium volume on music for 3.5 hours straight. Had no issue, obviously. At Heatwave, I probably gave out a total of 20, 22 half, 3/4 song demos. I mean, I don't do that little 20-second bullshit. I do half songs or longer. That are basically the entire length of whatever bass line's in the damn song. But so I did that. I did like 10 to 12 back to back. Had a little crowd going. By the end of it, basically as soon as I was getting into songs, my voltage was 12 flat, 11.9, 12.1, 12.2, 11.9, that sort of thing. I mean, relatively low voltage. After the 10 to a dozen demos, went and checked how hot the amp was. It was hot to the touch, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't like, holy shit, I mean, I could crack an egg on the damn thing and cook it, but I mean, it was hot. But the cool thing I didn't realize, I guess with it having less aluminum in the heatsink, there's not as much material to hold heat, and with it having 2 fans on the power and ground input side and 2 fans on the speaker terminal output side, the 2 cycling in, the other 2 pulling out, it cools down really fast. And I'm talking I mean, I didn't clock the damn thing, but it seemed like 4 or 5 minutes later, it was, it was warm. It was no longer hot. I didn't have any issue with maybe I should let it cool down more. Somebody came up to me, asked for a demo. I hopped in my truck, went full tilt. I think it was for like 2.5 minutes straight, I think is the song. So yeah, had no problem with that. The fans are, I mean, they do their job. As far as the inputs go, it's a single 1-aught input. I think I said that earlier. Like I say, shit's starting to overlap. I went and got dual inputs for it. I felt like I needed them, which in reality I probably don't. I just, that's just me being used to Koreans and needing, oh shit, more wire. I need more wire. I need more wire. I need more wire. Rather than switching to an amplifier board that really doesn't need that overbuilt wire, to where it can pull a little bit of DC amperage or DC wattage, however you want to see it, and turn that into a lot of AC wattage on the output side, which is really cool. So kind of go into I kind of want to go into this sort of analogy why I sort of kind of, not necessarily a rant, but kind of my thinking to why Brazilians have such a bad rap. A lot of y'all probably remember, I mean, it was probably a year and a half ago when, I mean, it seemed like Stetsons were going up like fucking McDonald's. I mean, they're just going up in flames everywhere. And what I think is this sort of kind of thinking's going on, not with the people who are actually buying the Brazilian amps, but the people on the forums or on social media who are sort of passing around all this information. When you own a Korean, say you're with or you're with Business One, they sell Korean boards. You buy a 5,000 watt Korean board. You blow it in a week. User error? Maybe. They replace it. It's under warranty. You get another one back. It blows in a week. You're starting to think, huh, maybe this wasn't the right company to go to. You get your third one. You try and do something with it. Doesn't seem like it's acting right. So you decide to, screw it. I'll go to a different company. Now, that being a Korean company, most people doing that are going to go to a different Korean company. And that's the thing. That's the difference, is what it seems like. When somebody goes Brazilian and they say, let me try Setsum, or let me try Sound Digital, or like now the Bravas or the Bradas, I forget what they're called, and the Taramps. If you get a Setsum and you blow one of those things, you get it back and blow it again, you're thinking, man, Brazilian sucks. Not Stetson sucks, or maybe I should try Taramps, or maybe I should try Sound Digital. You're thinking, huh, I need to go Korean. And I feel like that's the difference here, is when somebody blows a Korean, they pass it off as a company issue. It seems like when somebody blows a Brazilian, they blow it off as a Brazilian issue, if that makes any sense. And that's just kind of what I wanted to sort of wrap this video up with. It seems like it's not apples to apples when they're kind of comparing everything. But like I said, in my experience, I'm very happy with how it performed. Are they better than Koreans? Maybe, maybe not. Are Koreans better? Maybe, maybe not. It's more of an application-based sort of thing. Honestly, with me, I have a lot of limited space as far as electrical goes, so I'm going to try my best to pull the least amount of amperage to get the most wattage. So I've really thought about getting two 2-ohm version 6500s, running 2 subs per amp. Possibly getting the same wattage as if I would with the Korean, but pulling, say, 150, 200 amps less. That sort of thing. But I really like the Korean reliability of, you can beat the damn thing into the ground and it's going to laugh at you and tell you to beat on it more, sort of kind of feeling you get when using Koreans. So, like I said, take it with a grain of salt. Maybe I got a good one. Who knows? This is just my personal experience with one amplifier. The team Sound Pressure Audio, the team I'm on with, 7, 8 other guys. Some of them are thinking about trying Taramps. I mean, it's budget friendly, and so far so good. They're happy with how mine has been acting. So take it as you take it as you see it. Like I said, don't take this as they're the best, they're this or that. Just my experience. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this. Hopefully it didn't run too long. If you listen to the whole thing, congratulations. I don't have anything for you. So thanks for listening.